All right, guys, welcome back to the On the Pursuit Podcast. On this podcast, we connect with movers, shakers, business owners, CEOs, people that are on the pursuit of their goals and their dreams. And today's guest is nothing short of that. Damian Burris, he's a professional speaker. He's into luxury car rentals. And not only is he the number one black-owned, not only does he have the number one black-owned real estate company in South Carolina, it's pretty much the number one real estate company in South Carolina, not just black-owned, just the number one in general. We're going to put that out there like that. So, Mr. Damian Burris, my pulpit is different, man. Welcome to the pod, man. We've been trying to make this happen for a couple of weeks. Like I told you off the camera, I'm super excited to have you here, man. Grateful and thankful. Welcome to the podcast.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, B, man. Like, it's my pleasure to be here. Like you said, we've been trying to make it happen, man. We here now.
Word, 100%. And one of the first things I want to just put out there for anyone that has a podcast, or if you're doing anything, is persistence, right? Persistence, and then obviously your time sometimes isn't the other person's time, and don't take that personally. And what I mean to say is, Damian was definitely one person that I really wanted to have on the pod. He was on my list. I see the energy that he puts out, very inspiring, very, very motivating. But sometimes things don't align in the time that you want them to align with. So what does that mean? You don't take things personally, right? You work things out. You make sure that you create a space in the future, so then the thing that you want to see come to fruition actually comes to fruition. And that's why he's on the podcast today, and you're listening to this episode when you are, man. So first thing first, man, what is this whole thing about the pulpit? What is my pulpit is different? Can you break that down for the listeners that don't know, that do not follow you, that are not in tune? Break that down for them.
Absolutely, man. So my pulpit is different, man. I grew up a church boy, man. Church all my life. My mom was real strong, real heavy in church. So, that's how I grew up. But I noticed that there was a call of ministry on my life, but it didn't look like, suit and tie. It didn't look like, in a raised, elevated platform, talking to people and telling them, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. It came more so from a ministry of help, man, getting people to where they need to be holistically, man, emotionally, financially, mentally. And I knew that I had that calling, that gifting, that assignment, but I knew it was going to be in a different geographical location. So one day while I was on the live in 2017, man, it just kind of came out. It was like, my pulpit is different. And one of my staff, they looked at me like, "Hey, you heard what you just said?" I was like, yeah, it was kind of weird. So it just kind of stuck from there, man. But I believe God has given all of us an assignment. I think there's an audience that everybody has to reach, because there are things that we go through that causes us to have answers for other people. I think we're all walking answers. And I think my pulpit is different. Your pulpit is different. Everybody has a different place that they have to minister and to help people get to the next place in life, man.
100%, man. That makes so much sense now that you break that down, especially from the point where, that walk that you was receiving and that walk that you taking wasn't looking, like the traditional walk. So when you realize that, the way you're able to communicate, the way you're able to connect, the way you're able to display your genius and display your expertise is a different walk for you as it would be for everyone else. But you're still able to make tremendous impact.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can do this in the barbershop while we playing ball, while we riding, while we chilling. It don't matter. I don't have to wait on Sunday. I don't have to be in a suit and tie. I can do it anywhere I need to do it.
And that's very important. So, like you just said, you don't have to do it in a suit and a tie. Right now, we are both in relaxed mode, right? Right now, you got on the casual, I got on the casual, right?
Right.
So while we take a step back, walk us through your journey. How did you start as an entrepreneur? What business was first? And then once you got that opportunity, how were you able to leverage that into a business that gave you the ability to start other businesses?
Man, that's a great question. How far are we going back? We're going back to childhood, or we're going back to how far are we going back?
Yeah. Take us through the childhood journey.
Yeah, man. Childhood journey was crazy. It was difficult, man. Born to a single mother at the age of 19. City girl from Jersey. Got hooked up with my pops. Wound up coming down here to South Carolina, and she was a baby herself, man. At 19 years old, just now getting out of high school. and not really having a career, not really understanding life, but had me. And my mom was a trooper, man. She's a soldier. So she raised me the best of her ability. Sacrificed a lot to make sure I came into the world. But being born to a single parent, it's difficult, man. It's real difficult because a child has to understand two elements in life, and both parents are responsible for shaping the world of a child. And my world was half shaped in that aspect, so I had to kind of figure things out on my own. I had to trial and error. I had to bump into some brick walls. But I think that was a catalyst that gives me the ability to do what I do now. Growing up, getting older, looking for a lot of validation, looking for things in life, trying to understand my way, trying to understand certain things. um, my mom was strong enough to keep me out of the streets. So I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in church. She kept me out the streets. Got older. I did, reunite with my father at the 8 years. Kind of got a little hectic around that time frame. And then we rekindled again, and I was 15 years old. So by this time, he's a police officer. My brother's in law enforcement. So it was kind of like the family business on that side. I wound up getting in law enforcement at the age of 22 and 21, and I did 12 years, 12-year law enforcement career, from 21 to 33, 32, 34, somewhere around there. And I retired. I got injured in the line of duty. I wound up retiring. And when I retired, well, before I retired in 2015, my first business was real estate. I got my real estate
Mm,
license, my business partner now, and he introduced me to the game. It was tough at first, didn't know what I was doing, never been an entrepreneur, always worked for somebody else. So I got out of that, or I got out of law enforcement in 2016 after only being in real estate for a year. My first year, man, God was good to me. I crushed it. I made six figures my first year. And I started seeing a pattern, started seeing a trend, started seeing other realtors gravitate to me and just kind of asking me, hey, what is it that you're doing? How you're doing this? How you doing that? And me, I'm grateful because I don't have a college degree, but law enforcement really showed me a lot. The Constitution starts out with we the people, which means the people have the power. Law enforcement sometimes kind of get that twisted. They think because they got the gun and badge that it gives them the authority to kind of trample over sometimes, but really the people extend the authority to the police officers, right? So that was customer service on a whole nother level for me. You know what I'm saying? It was my job. If you had a flat tire side of the road, protect and serve. I got to make sure you get out, make sure you're okay. If you needed to ride to jail, it was my duty to take you there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I did it. That was customer service on a whole nother level, man. I got a chance to meet so many people because not just indigent people commit crimes. I've locked up doctors for giving out fake medication. I've locked up homeless people. I've locked up different kinds of people. So you have the ability to speak to different kinds of people. I say all the time, I'm bilingual, not because of my dialect, but because of my experiences, right? So I've been through a lot, seen a lot in that short period of time, and short 12 years or long 12 years. So it's kind of branded me into understanding what that was. So I got into the real estate game, and within 3 years of being in real estate, had the opportunity to open my own brokerage and took advantage of that. Here where I am, it's not a lot of black owned, not a lot of black agents. Back when I got into it 6 7 years ago, it's getting it's getting a little more leveled out. Predominantly Caucasian still has the bigger platform of real estate by numbers here. But yeah, I got in 2018 and merged with my partner in 2019. And from there, man, we exploded. And it's just been absolutely incredible. How I was able to leverage relationships, real estate is kind of like an angel investment to me. It gives you money if you do it right quickly and often for you to be able to take that money and leverage other relationships. So with that, leverage some other relationships with opening a luxury car rental company. So I have a bunch of foreign cars that we rent out to people that want to pick them up from the airport, want to go out on the town, want to take pictures with them. So we run that business as well, and the motivational speaking. That's always been probably in the back of my mind because it was, I say, God pushed me out of a window. I was in law enforcement and fell out of a window and tore my quadricep tendon. I think had I not had that incident happen to me, I would still be in law enforcement to this day, trying to retire or trying to go work for Secret Service like I saw other people do. But I think God had another plan for me, and He was like, "This dude ain't gonna, he's not gonna stop doing this. So let me go ahead and move him out the way and get him to a whole nother place." So I think God has strategically set me up for where I am now and even where I'm going. And I even now feeling, a tug now. It's like, all right, this real estate thing is cool. You set people up, but you got to keep moving because the assignment keeps moving. So that's where I am. And that, short version, that's how it happened, man.
What's up, y'all? It's Brendan Boyd, speaker, productivity coach, and host of the On the PRST Podcast. And I want to talk to you all about my brand new book, The 8 Secrets to Success Playbook. Now, this playbook is jam-packed with all sorts of value. So if you're a coach or a consultant or an expert and you're looking to 5x or even 10x your business, you definitely want to grab a copy of this playbook. I'm talking about conversions, lead generation, high ticket offer, continuity offer, the power of speaking, the power of making a book for yourself, promoting, advertising is all in this playbook. So you definitely want to make sure that you grab a copy. Click the link below, get a copy of your playbook, and I'll see you on the other side. If you guys were listening, if you were watching, Damian gave us a lot right there, right? He gave us a lot. One of the things I want to touch on is if we go back to your childhood, right? You were talking about the two parents shaped you, and having only have the one parent available to you, right? Accessible to you, the majority of your upbringing, you had one like perception of the world. You were getting only 50% of being shaped. I can identify with that because my upbringing was very similar, But I had my grandma's perspective because both my mom and my dad weren't present. So I had that one element that you had as well. So that's really, really important to identify because there's a lot of people that may be watching or may be listening that may have similar stories. You may have one parent, it might be the mom, it might be dad, it might be your grandma that's holding you down, right? So you're only able to get that one anchor, right?
Right.
So you have that one anchor. Now you're navigating life, right? You're seeing things, you're touching things, you're hearing things, right? You're bumping into things, but you're only anchored on one particular anchor. So there's a lot of that life education that you're not getting.
Right.
However, there's a lot of life listening. There's a lot of life lesson that you're able to obtain because now you're learning a lot on your own.
Right.
And that in some cases speeds up your learning curve if you're open to it. If you're a sponge, and like you said, you had that one anchor, but it was solid because you wasn't in the streets like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Similar to me, like there's a lot of people that has one parent or maybe no parent, and that makes them more susceptible to street life.
It does.
So you made a decision even only with the one anchor that, you know what, I'm going to go this way. And then your trials and tribulations, like you said, family had that law enforcement kind of path, led you down a similar path. You get into that. Now, that gives you a lot of structure. And also another thing that I want to talk about is I think it's really amazing. I've never heard anyone talk about, law enforcement this way, but talking about it, how it's a high level customer service. Like that's crazy to think about it. Because you're 100% correct. And I'm really excited that you put it that way because that even allowed me to process it differently.
Right.
Like you said, there are some offers that may abuse their power, but it is really about we the people, right?
We the people.
So again, I think those lessons that you learn, the structure and then that high level customer service, I can see how that would now, I'm bringing it back now, that would anchor you in real estate moving forward.
Right.
And having that successful year one because you had structure already. And you knew how to build relationships, cultivate relationships, give that high level customer service, right? And give people an experience that they may not have received working with another realtor, right?
Absolutely.
So that's really incredible. Then you touched on leverage, right? So using real estate as the ability to almost, like you said, fund your other operations, right? It was kind of like angel investment, how you put it.
Right.
Now I'm using real estate as my main cog. Money's coming in. Now we're able to make new plays. And the next play I really want you to go into detail with because it's a hot play right now. I mean, I'm about to start my own journey in that play myself. Talk about the luxury car rental, the luxury car rentals a little bit more in detail because a lot of people feel like all I gotta do is grab an I-8, grab a Lambo, throw it on Toro, and I'm lit. And it's not that simple. It's not that easy. So can you break that down? How did you get into this? And then what's the play? Break down the play.
So it's pretty much, man. It's pretty much getting your credit. One of my biggest motivators and inspirations is my guy Pushman Mitch, man, out of Atlanta. I think we all know him. So just kind of, when I already had the cars when I met Push, but just kind of seeing a different limelight on how he does and how he navigates, how he moves, just brought a lot of clarity to my situation. So the play is pretty much credit, man. Getting that credit to where you need it to be, because the bank is going to need a personal guarantor. When you understand how to make those plays, simply getting that credit to where you want 720, 730, 750, you can do what you want to do in the bank. At that point in time, once you get that credit up there, you now start just putting in applications for cars that you want. And you gotta understand, if you run your credit, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in 30 days, it's going to take some time for it to hit. So, that's what I did. Me and my business partners, we went out, looked at the cars that we wanted, saw what the area needed. We went and got 7 cars in 9 days, right? So we got 7 cars in 9 days, looked at what we needed, got the trackers for the cars, set everything up on Turo. But we also have another platform. We have our own website, right? So the beauty about that is everybody know, Turo is taxing. You know what I'm saying? The good benefit about Turo is it's its own marketing entity, but Turo taxes a lot. We might get you on Turo, we'll pull you off, say, hey, next time you want to rent this, we can rent this at such and such, and just kind of keep it going, man. With being in real estate, Turo is the same thing to me because I'm keeping contact with my agents or with my clients, and we have something called a customer retention management system, or CRM, right? So when you get that CRM, you get that customer that rents from you, you put all their contact in that information, right? And then you do something called a drip campaign, right? You create flyers in Canva, and then after they rent it for some time, 2 weeks go by and you see who hasn't rented, you shoot them a text. Hey, it's a beautiful day outside. I got the car ready for you. I'll take pictures with the keys in the ignition or with the key sitting in the door. Open up the car and say, hey, look, the car is waiting on you. I'll have it pulled out the front when you get here. Man, people come back and get it like this. Like, I ain't got nothing to do. It's a nice, beautiful day. Let me go ahead and get it for a couple of days. Couple of days turn into 4, 4 turn into 7, 7 turn into a month. You know what I'm saying? So before you know it, they got the car, for the whole month. They tell them, hey, it's coming back today. You don't keep it for another day, I'll knock $100 off. You just got to know how to understand, how to feed into that, man. So, it's just customer relationships for us, man. We take care of our client, they take care of us. We give them something that they want to play and ride around in, and just make it work.
So I want to deep dive into that. But before we even do that, because you said a lot of amazing things, you gave a lot of gems there. What was it about the exotic car play or just the rental play that was attractive for you to start that business, leveraging the money from real estate? Why did you choose the rental game?
Man, it's probably one of the easiest places to get in because all you need is credit. Once you got good credit and you can show a certain amount of income, getting a car loan is not hard at all. It's just how much you're gonna pay for that car as it pertains to your interest rate. So getting a car loan was not hard at all. Very lucrative, and it's an easy game, and it's safe because you're using their insurance or you have some third party insurance. However you're doing it, it's a safe play. Your asset is protected. You can set up who and how you rent, who you rent to. You can set the qualifications of how your assets go out. You got to be a certain age. You got to have this much coverage. So it's a real safe bet if you know what you're doing. I've been, people say unfortunate, but I've been fortunate enough that I had one of my cars totaled. Because it's a safe bet. I'm not emotionally attached to them. I only had it, maybe 10, 15 days, Scat Pack, brand new, hardly no miles on it, 392. It was beautiful. Red interior, but after I think 3 days, 2 days of it being rented, it was total loss. Dropped the motor in it, right? It just tore it all to pieces. So it is what it is. It's an asset. You pay it off, you get a check from it, you keep pushing. So it's a safe bet if you know what you're doing, you know how to set it up.
So that's crazy. So first of all, we would definitely want to shout out Pushman Mitch. I've been paying attention to him as well. He's definitely leading the way. He's dropping a lot of gems, and his paid
Absolutely.
paid course been also for free. There's a lot of stuff you can tap in just to start. But like you said, I want to also talk about the leveraging point, right? Turo is a great platform to start on, but you're leveraging Turo for the direct rental situation where you're keeping more of the assets. You're able to really like develop that relationship. And another thing that I heard you say that was smart is now you're giving more value, right? Because you're tapping into them. You're like, hey, we can discount you for an additional day or maybe additional week. Hey, we set this up for you. Hey, you haven't rented in a week or 2 weeks or a month. We got a brand new car. You want to try it out with whatever situation may be. It's going to be nice this weekend or whatever. So that's very important, right? People are not taking advantage of cultivating the relationships because they think the fastest way for me to build more income is more and more customers. But the fastest way to build more income is to go deeper with your current customers, right?
Right.
And then use them as abilities to refer more business, but you want to keep them happy. So because one person can spend thousands of dollars with you.
I just right before I got on with you, I just got a call that my wagon went out for a week. My Mazda truck went out for a week. My Porsche truck is gone for a week. Somebody just put a deposit on another car for Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, like, they're spending. You know what I'm saying? So it's working. It's working.
So one thing I want to touch on too, you actually haven't said it, but I know that for you, it's not something that you struggle with. A lot of people struggle with believing that they can actually make a certain amount of money per month, or that they can price things at a certain price. Where were you able to develop your mindset in terms of believing in abundance and that there's money out there, people will spend the money? Like where did that come from for you? How did you develop that?
Man, I've always had a taste for wealth, man. Like I remember my mom sending me to the store, and as a younger child, and she would give me $10, and she was like, "Hey, go get a pack of chicken so I can cook." I walk in the store, grab a pack of chicken, take it to the counter, $9.39, bring it back, drop the receipt and change on the counter. She was like, "Where the rest of my money?" It's like the chicken was $9.39. You didn't look at the price? Well, you didn't tell me to look at the price. I didn't know I was looking at the price. I didn't know I was supposed to bring something back, So ever since I've been small, man, I've not been looking at price tags, man. It's just been, I want it, I need to get it, and this is how I'm gonna make it happen. So I just always thought differently, man. But one of the biggest things that I when I went through a phase, man, of being homeless, man. I slept in my truck for a while. I had to use the city gym to take a shower. I had to put on a gun and badge to get a free meal from McDonald's. This was while being a detective. And it was tough for me. And I made God a promise. I said, if you can pull me out of this situation, I want to be a distribution center. If you go to Walmart, Target, or any store right now, that's a big store, and that you look for an item that's on the shelf and it's out, you ask the person, the grocery manager or one of the employees, hey, do y'all have any, let's say, Gain detergent in the back? And it's like, no, we're out, but the truck will be here tomorrow, right? Well, the truck is not the distribution center. The truck is the vehicle that came from the distribution center. Distribution centers are always full. I made a pact with God. I said, if you can get me out of this financial ruin, I want you to make me a distribution center. I know that there are people on this earth that you got to get things to. In order for you to get things to these people, there has to be somebody that you trust with wealth. I want to be that guy. There's a scripture that says, press down, shaking together, and running over shall men give into your bosoms. Well, if God's going to use a man to give to people that need it, there has to be a man. So my prayer was, God, make me the man. Make me the person that you can get wealth to and you can get it through. So I've always had this outlook that I'm going to have it because God's going to need it to give it somebody. So he might as well give it to me.
Yo, that's amazing, man. That's amazing how, let's look at that as just personal leverage. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at your ability to, okay, right now I don't have it, but I'm gonna think about this in abundance. So if I'm able to be used as a vessel, if you're able to pour onto me, I'm able to pour onto myself. I'm a distribution channel for other people, and my message is gonna connect with the people that are ready for it.
Right.
And that kind of brings me to something else that I want to talk about. I love how you be going deep into the lives, man. But right before we get into that, you mentioned something very interesting. We can't just gloss over it. Talk about you being homeless for a little bit. showering in public places, and then using your uniform as a means to eat for free at McDonald's and other places, man. How did that happen? You have to share that testimony.
Man, so I had I gotten divorced, man, and had to wind up moving back home with my mom. And where she lived and where I worked was 2 hours away. And I had to work every day for 7 days straight. For 7 days straight, I had to work. I wasn't able to get in my car. This is when gas was like through the roof back in probably '07, '08. Like gas was through the roof that year. And I was driving a black Mitsubishi Montero Sport, drinking gas, like, just like nobody business, man. One of them big Jones, right? And man, it was tough. I wasn't able to get back and forth home. And I really didn't know anybody in the city like that, in the city that I was working, because I went 2 hours to work in a whole nother city because that's where the job was. And I stayed out there for a week, man. Not having any place to go. My mom wasn't wealthy. She didn't have the money for me to go back and forth like that. So she was like, "You got to buckle down and do what you got to do." I didn't have money for a hotel, so I slept in my truck in the parking lot, man, of Walmart. I would, after my shift was over, I would go to McDonald's. I would grab some dinner. In my uniform, I would eat at the restaurant. I would get in my truck. I had some cover in the back of my Montero Sport. I would go to the Walmart parking lot. It was Tractor Supply and Walmart parking lot in the same area. So I would start off in Walmart at the very back of the parking lot, and I would set my alarm clock. So I wasn't getting much sleep, right? It was dead winter, right? I would turn the heat on as long as I could stand it, like pretty much burn myself up as hot as I could stand it, because I know I wasn't going to be able to leave the vehicle on all night for two reasons. I didn't have a lot of gas, and I didn't want anybody to drive by and see a vehicle with the lights off and smoke coming out the tailpipe, because then I'll be made. The police will know that the police are sleeping in the parking lot. So every 2 hours, I would set my alarm clock to go off, get in the driver's seat, move to a different location so my truck wouldn't be made. And that happened for about a week, man, because I didn't have the ability to go back and forth. And after a while, I made friends with somebody in the police department. I started sleeping on his couch, man. But before that, I would wake up, go to the city gym, go work out, do a little something just to be able to use the shower. And that's where I would brush my teeth. That's where I would groom and do everything, man, for about a week and a half.
That's crazy, man. Like, what did that feel like at the time? I mean, I understand you had to do what you had to do, but what was that like when you were in that moment? If you could take us back to that moment, what did that feel like that week? How was that week?
Man, you ever hear Hell Week in Marine, man?
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. It was humbling though, man. It was there that I made the promise to God that if you get me out of this situation, I will instruct others on how to get their life together, man. It was tough, man, but I'm not a stranger to tough situations, man. I grew up hard. I grew up seeing a mom survive. So it was a way of life for me. That was the dumps. That was tough. That was a new low, but it wasn't anything that scared me. I knew I still have vision, man. I say it all the time, the last thing that vision produces is sight. So even in all that, even in being homeless, I still had a mindset that I'm going to be wealthy one day and I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to tell people my story, man.
Yo, that's crazy, man. I mean, I knew a lot from you from following you and paying attention to what you're putting out, but that's definitely a story that I definitely didn't know. And people that are watching, are listening, I know that probably touched them, and that hopefully will motivate them if you're in a similar situation. That
Right.
obviously Damien was able to turn everything around, and you can see what's going on right now. So,
Right.
yo, that's a crazy story right there.
If you're a coach, consultant, expert, or specialist, there's only 3 things that you need to take you from where you are right now to where you want to go. And those 3 things are this: a roadmap, consistency, and the right coaching. So if you're coachable, if you can follow a roadmap, if you're ready to be consistent, I invite you to jump on a call with me or someone from my team, and we can lay out the play to get you from where you are now to where you want to go. But I'm going to be honest. Not everyone is ready. This system isn't for everyone. This is only for someone who is ready and willing to be committed, who can follow a roadmap, and who is coachable. So if that someone is you, I invite you to jump on a strategy call with me or someone from my team. We'll lay everything out for you. All right? My name is Brendan Boyd, and I'll see you on the other side.
Switching gears a little bit, man. Let's talk about the marketing situation, man, because I'm seeing you're a master marketer out here. You know what I'm saying? Like you're on the lives, cultivating relationships, utilizing your leverage, one business to the next. Mm-hmm. Tell me, why is the marketing so important, and what is your marketing strategy that allows you to create leads and then convert those leads into relationships and then ultimately sales?
Man, my marketing strategy, I'll have to say shout out to Shands, man. David Shands is a guru of marketing, man, and just kind of sitting under his tutelage, man. Another guy that I follow that's absolutely incredible is Marty Woodard, man. I don't know if you follow Marty, but Marty, anybody your followers do, he's incredible. So just kind of sitting back and listening to those guys and seeing and understanding. Another thing that I didn't brush up on, I didn't talk about, but that was really intricate in my marketing, what I do now, being a homicide detective. You have to really understand how to read and understand people, because you're
the psychology
right. Absolutely. It's the study of the human mind. So my career was a lot of getting people to tell me things about themselves, honestly, that would incriminate them, that would put them in prison, put them in jail, get them arrested or whatever the case may be. So you learn how to reach people at a deep, dark, low place without being judgmental. Now, it was a technique to get the truth from you when I was getting paid to do it in law enforcement. And then the punishment followed. In this aspect, is to help you grow. It's not to judge you. It's not to talk about you. It's not to belittle you. It's to say, hey, that happened, but you can start again. The good thing about this now, the end is not being arrested. The end is being changed. So that's what people gravitate to. People gravitate to somebody having the answers. One of the reasons why, like you said, why real estate was so easy for me is because I came from a problem solving background already. And real estate is just that. You need to buy or sell. I have a problem. You present a problem to me. I give you the solution. And the solution is A, B, C, all the way to Z. So I wasn't a newbie to solving problems. Think about it. The people that actually solve problems are the people that get paid. They get the corner office, they get the big salary, they get the nice car, they get everything because they have the ability to make problems go away, right? So I'm life's hitman. When things happen and you need to get rid of bad things, you need to get rid of negative energy, you need to get rid of those things. I'm the person that you reach out to make sure we get rid of that. We stomp that out, right? So that was just one of those things that really helped me as well, that I took over from law enforcement to real estate. People ask me all the time, man, how are you going to cross over from a homicide detective to real estate? Well, murder is 30 years, a mortgage is 30 years. It's the same thing, just a different product, So you got to understand how it works. But yeah, man, that was the biggest thing. That's my marketing strategy is people. One of my hashtags is I'm a people mechanic. I work on people. I fix people. So when you do that, you really don't have to really go far for content. You just now have to realize, what is it that people are dealing with? What is it that people have going on? You now become an expert in that problem. Where you become an expert is you know more about a person's problem that has it than you do as the person that's going to fix it, right? Think about it. When you go to, if I'm a mechanic, I don't own your car. But if you tell me what it's doing, I can tell you what's wrong with the car before you can. And you'll pay me for it, right? But I don't own the car. I don't own your problems. But because I know the solution better than you do, you're going to listen. So that's what it is, man. It's just me solving problems and helping people get out through situations.
I like how you put it, man. Life's hitman, people's mechanic. That's fire. So for the people that are listening, for the people that are watching right now, if you could give a marketing play away that they can utilize right now, like as soon as they turn off this podcast, they can utilize in their business right now. What's something that you would give to the people that they can incorporate right now to get a result or create some momentum in their business?
I got you. I'm a believer that if you are selling something or you're pushing something, you have a product or you have a service, you believe in it, right? It's what wakes you up in the morning. It's what wakes you up. It's what gets you started. Your story is going to be the most impressionable marketing piece that you could ever do, right? I didn't come on here and introduce Bob. Bob was homeless. Sally lived in a truck. Sally did this. No, I told you about Damian. So from that ability, I have now the power to captivate you and to get you in, to draw you in, to so you understand not only is he helping people, he's a product of his own environment. He changed from the things that he believed in his own self. So telling your story is the most powerful marketing tool that anybody can ever use. I don't care if you're selling ice cream. I don't care if you're selling t-shirts. I don't care what you're doing. Telling your story about how and why what you're doing causes you to do what you do is going to instantly get people's attention because there's feeling, there's experience, and there's wisdom associated with what you're trying to get me to do. It's not just an empty pitch that everybody does. Or hey, you got dirt on your floor, you need a vacuum cleaner. No, it's about understanding why you don't want to come in and walk on a dirty floor, how it grosses you out to feel your feet walk on some dirt, whatever the case may be. You have to tell your story, put yourself in your product, whatever you're doing to propel people to understand why now and how they can use this and why they need it.
Yo, first of all, bunch of gems in there. Utilize your story 100%. I will 100% agree with you.
Right.
You mentioned the word captivated, and I want to double down on that because even me having you on a podcast and hosting a podcast with you as a guest, I'm still captivated by your story. So that's
Right.
just showing people that are watching, that are listening, how impactful your story can actually be if you get to the comfort level of being able to share that. And I know there's people that feel that are probably struggling with anxiety or being introverted or not wanting to share or feeling those feelings of judgment, that if they share their story, people are going to look at them a certain way. But once you start to realize that your story is actually going to be the thing that can be transformational for someone that's watching, listening, that's consuming your content, and it will actually make that connection, then you're actually able to then drive them to whatever CTA that you may have available. Right. So if that's a product, service, some type of one-on-one experience, you're able to really make those connections when, like you said, you're able to share your story.
You said something that I want to piggyback on. Introvert. A lot of people, when I meet people and they want to be coached and they ask these questions, I don't know how you do that because I'm an introvert. I'm gonna say something, a lot of people are not gonna believe it. So am I. If I had my way, bro, this wouldn't be me. I'm tucked off in the corner. I'm cool. I'm chilling. Let me give you a crazy fact. 98% of the top producers, high achievers in the world, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, all of those guys are introverts. Only 2% are loudmouths and alpha males. 98% of billionaires are introverts. So introvert is a great foundation for you to be absolutely wealthy, because the top people in the world are all introverts.
Yo, that's a crazy flip. I mean, first of all, we definitely gonna have to pull this out and highlight that clip for sure. That's a crazy flip for people that are struggling with the fact that they're introverted, so they can't, create the content, put the output out there, be as successful as, let's say, you. But you just acknowledging like, hey, I'm introverted, and so these billionaires. So there's actually no excuse why you can't show up in your own true power and do what you need to do. So I want to touch on you being a professional speaker, but I don't want to let you off the hook just yet in terms of the marketing play. So people that follow you right now, they probably are wondering, why does Damian go live every single day? Why is he going live multiple times a day? Why am I keep getting these notifications and these abilities to catch you live sharing? So why do you do this? Why is this part of your daily routine? Why is this part of your marketing strategy? Why is going live part of it?
Man, I'm a firm believer in the word your social media feed. And I have an audience. I built an audience. And if I'm not feeding them, we're not growing. More times than not, my CTA brings me anywhere from 20 to 30 more followers every time I get on, because I'm saying something, or as a call to action, there's something that pierces the soul, heart, mind, and body of the people that are watching me, and they feel compelled from either experience or a call to action to share it with somebody that may not know who I am. So in order for me to grow my social media following or the feed, I have to be feeding it. A lot of people that come to me and they ask about it, I go and I just start clicking on their social media. All right, so you posted yesterday at 5 o'clock, and then you hadn't posted again since July. Well, if we're looking at this as an infant and you're growing this as a baby, you're starving your people. So you have to understand what that looks like. As long as they're going to sign on, I'm going to feed them. As long as I know I have something to say, I'm going to feed them, which is why it becomes what it is. Now, there's something that I teach my agents when they first start. You have to rebrand who you are, because branding is what people say about you. Marketing is what you say about yourself. Branding is what people say about you. Marketing is what you say about yourself. That's why you always hear them say, protect the brand. Don't protect the marketing, because that's what you say. The brand is the experience. What do we get from Damian? So when my branding is out there, I have to make sure I'm protecting that brand by being consistent, right? So the brain only has two functions or two places for preference when you're dealing with choice. The brain only has two places of preference when you're dealing with choice. So let me ask you a question, B. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is probably pasta, bro. I love spaghetti.
Pasta. Where are you going to get that pasta?
Right now I'm in LA, so I'm going to Pura Vida.
All right. What's the second place?
My second place for pasta,
Yes, sir.
I'm probably gonna go to what's the spot called?
This is going good already. Let's leave it right there. All right. So what I teach is TOMA, top of mind awareness, right? TOMA, top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
If I'm going to stay
Crossroads, there it is. Crossroads number 2. Crossroads, there it is. There it
crossroads,
is.
all right. If I'm going to stay TOMA, top of mind awareness, I have to consistently show up in people's faces for them to have an association with me being a speaker to, is it Pura Vida?
Yep.
Right. So now I'm the Pure Vita of pasta. I'm the Pure Vita of speaking. Right. So now when they think of pasta, the first thing you said was, "Oh, I'm out of LA. I'm going to Pure Vita." All right. What's your second place? And that's where most people wind up. They become the of their career because nobody realizes who they are, and it takes them a second to grasp it and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot they got good pasta." Right. So that's how it is. The reason why I show up so often is because I want to be top of mind awareness. Now, I'm in my studio, you're in your studio. I don't have any pasta in here. You don't have any pasta in there, I don't think, or I can't see. But are we talking about Pure Vita and they're nowhere around? Absolutely. Now then that becomes marketing that people say about you, which is called word of mouth. And now people start talking about you when you're nowhere around because of the experience and what you left with them the last time they had an encounter. So even when I'm not even on the screen, when I'm nowhere on the road or on the phone, or I'm talking or I'm coaching, my phone is constantly going off because there's something that I said or did that left such an impression on people that they're talking about me. So now I become the pure Vita of speaking, of going live, of coaching, of helping turn people's lives around because I've created top of mind awareness.
Bro, first of all, yo, when you come to LA, you know we pulling up to Pura Vida 100%.
I gotta go.
I'm gonna show you how fire it is, bro. No cap, no gas. It's amazing. So that's number one. Number two, I'm happy that you said that, top of mind. If you're not consistent, if you're not doing what you need to do, if you're not showing up like you said in the feed, if you're not feeding your people, if you're starving your people, they're not gonna remember you for the thing that you should be remembered for. So if it's real estate, if it's coaching, if it's car rental, you know what I'm saying? If it's Airbnb, whatever the case may be,
right?
If you're not showing up and if you're not consistent, they're gonna forget about you. Another thing I think that you do amazing is what a lot of people drop the ball on, and we already touched on it, but I just want to circle back on it, is what happens after the sale. You were talking about the CRM, making the touch points, making sure you got the follow-up. And there's an amazing book for realtors to tap into, but it's universal for any industry, and that's Ninja Selling. So if you haven't read Ninja Selling, it's an amazing book for realtors it gives you a full gambit, the full steps. It's amazing for mortgage professionals as well. But if you just have a regular product-based business or a service-based business, all those principles will apply to your business, man. And you left me with a perfect segue. So why don't we talk about your transition as a professional speaker, coach, motivator? What led you to this path as well? And then how are you feeding your people with speaking?
Yeah, man. Like I said before, I think real estate was really. I'll go back. I think law enforcement was my college. Real estate was my undergrad, or real estate was my undergrad. Uh, um, Excuse me. Law enforcement was my undergrad. Real estate was my grad. Right. So it prepared me to deal with people in law enforcement. Real estate caused me to deal with people and also to train on a different level. So now I'm dealing with people, I'm dealing with problems, I'm dealing with employees, and I'm dealing with how to structure and run a business. So now the segue from just being a realtor to now being the owner of the company to now helping other business owners and other people deal with different life problems, financial issues, and all those things. I had all of that wrapped up in 2 careers. I mean, full of problems. Anytime I got a phone call, somebody was dead due to the nature of the work that I did. And then there's a problem with somebody needing to buy a house, get out of a house, or refinance, or whatever the case may be. Now I'm dealing with employees. Now I'm dealing with structuring the business. Now I'm dealing with the longevity of the business. So it just gave me a platform to help people understand how to do those things. So now I'm taking all those things that are all mixed up into that together and now helping other people understand life from different angles, from a financial aspect, from a family aspect, from holding business together, from problem solving. So doing all those things, I'm taking all that thing that's in that melting pot, and it's coming out into a speaker form. I talked today on the morning meetup with David Shands, and one of my biggest things that I always talk about is we're so busy trying to have 7 or 8 different streams of income. And I think that's cool if you got streams of income. But what I think is cooler is when you have a river. Find what it is that you were created to do without being told. Now you can polish it, but there's an innate ability in all of us that God has given us that when we tap into it, it creates streams from a river. You've never seen a branch on a tree. You've always seen a tree on a branch, right? Or vice versa. You never seen a tree on a branch, seen a branch on a tree, because things don't happen in reverse. I think when you find your river and you find what you were gifted to do, you then have the ability to have different streams of income. And once you find those different streams of income, that river allows it to flow from every place. I think once you make the river bigger, the streams grow fuller or they flow harder. So to me, it's all about cultivating the first thing that you're gifted to do. Once you cultivate the first thing you're gifted to do, then you can branch off and do other things. There were people that came to me, with different things. Man, I see you doing this. I see you doing that. You want to do this? I'm like, nah, that doesn't really align with what I think my vision is. So I'm gonna stay away from that, right? But when I see something that I think aligns with what I'm doing, and it gives me the ability to help people, and it opens avenues and open doors for other things, I jump all over it, man. So that's how, the segue came into the speaking thing and how I'm able to go from law enforcement to owning the real estate company to now speaking into lives of people.
Yeah, so I can see how it was a natural transition from you. And then I can also see how the foundation for you with a lot of these things came from the law enforcement, right?
Right.
The high level customer service, everything you learn, the human mind, right? The study of that psychology, really putting that into place. Now you're taking all of that. That's in the real estate. Now you're taking all of that. That's in how you dealing with customers and running your luxury car business. And now with the speaking, you're able to have that impact on a one-on-one, but on a deeper level, because now you're helping people with their real problems. You got into a solution, which may be a transformational solution for them, whether it be mental with the mindset, financial, starting a business, self-belief, things like that. So that's amazing. So I know there's people that want to know, is speaking really lucrative? So I just finished a book, one of the chapters in my book talks about how on the low end, there's $2,500 checks waiting for you to just pick up. This is at colleges and universities. Between $25 and $5,500 as a beginning speaker for you to just go collect.
Right.
And you could run up a bag, 200,000 if your rates are right in a month.
Right.
Depending on how often you speak. I mean, you speak one time on a low end, $2,500. That's 30 grand in a year. So talk about how lucrative it can be for someone that maybe their thing is speaking, or maybe they want to leverage what they've already built. Maybe they cultivate it. They have their river running. They got their stream streaming. And they want to get into, you know what I'm saying? They want to get into speaking now as another ability to bring in some income. So talk about that real quick, how lucrative this opportunity can be for people that want to go down this road.
It's definitely lucrative, man. It's probably one of the most highly sought after entrepreneur jobs in 2020. When you look at that census, it was probably one of the most highly sought after jobs in 2020 because that was a rough time for people, and people needed a voice. People needed life spoken into them. So I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. Like you said, I mean, you can make 2,500, engagement. I mean, it happens that way. So it's very lucrative, man. One of my biggest mentors, 100K an hour. So it's like that. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta, I would I would advise anybody, fix your story before you start asking for a check. Fix your story. Your story needs to be compelling. It needs to be convincing. You need to be able to invoke change in people's lives. Don't just go asking for a bag and you ain't got nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? So I was told before, one of the guys that I glean from a lot. He's like, it's better for them to call you for what you have to say than for them to call you for what your last name is. I'd rather walk into a room and you not know who I am and floor the entire place than for you to call me just because my last name is what it is. So fix the story so that when you walk into the room and you know what you're gonna say, it's not about the bag. You gotta get it, but you're there to help people, to change lives. I've spoke at places where I did it for free because I know they didn't have the ability to do it. However, it opened up other doors down the road. So there are things that you can do. There's leverages that you can make. Hey, listen, if I do it for you for free, I need 3 more people that you can turn me on to that I can get a check from that can cover the fact that I came to you for free. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things you do. Get a product that if they can't pay you, I have the ability to sell product at this event. Right. So there's certain things you can do to make capital on speaking.
So man, look, you drop so many gems, even in that, right? You're talking about how if you don't get paid on the front end, if you got a product, like, my book's already out. By the time this is out, my book's out. So if I go and I speak, that somewhere Damian's like, yo, B, I got a situation for you, a great opportunity. They can't pay you on the front end, but you're able to sell your book or your course, or your program. Or you know what? They're gonna refer you to 2 people that have a budget or your merch. Right. Exactly. So speaking is another great opportunity for you to dive into. Like you said, 2020, people needed a voice. So whether speaking is gonna be your main source of how you're gonna get it, or if it's gonna be, like Damian was saying, another branch on your tree to get your river in and your streaming, so you can bring in some additional income. I want to thank you for being on the pod, bro. Like,
and I appreciate you, man.
So many gems you dropped, so much wealth of knowledge. Someone could definitely listen to this, start a business, get some extra bags, fix their mindset, relate to your story. There's just so much in that someone could definitely, whether you're watching or listening, I mean, you could definitely bring this back and catch a bunch of things that you dropped, man. I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to do it. Is there anything else you want to leave the people? And definitely let them know, how can they tap into you? How can they find you on the social?
No doubt, man. On every platform, I'm Damian Burris. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even what's the new one, man? TikTok. I'm on TikTok. My my pulpit is different for YouTube. So if you follow me on YouTube channel, my pulpit is different, but for every place else, it's Damian Burris. If I had to leave something with you, I would leave with you a quote that I live by and I hold near to my heart because I think it's effective. The opportunity of a lifetime only lasts the lifetime of the opportunity. Means you don't have all day to get it done. There's a saying in the military, in by 37, out by 57. It's not that they think you're incapable after a certain age or you're immature before a certain age. It's just they understand that there's a window where your body is going to be at maximum, your brain, your motor skills, everything is going to be at optimum level. And you have to strike while the iron is hot. And people always, the analogy, well, what's striking while the iron is hot? Because when iron is hot, it's soft, it's impressionable, it can be bent, it can be manipulated. Your body, mind, and everything that you have a certain window. There's an opportunity that you have, and you got to maximize that. And you got to go for what you know in that time and in that space. So that's what I would leave you. The opportunity of a lifetime only lasts the lifetime of the opportunity.
Well, Damian, again, man, thanks a lot for being on the pod. So much information was dropped. So many gems was dropped. I want to give you thanks, man. Continue on your journey. Much blessings, abundance to you. Continue to share your story and inspire and motivate people. And yeah, man, this is the On the Pursuit podcast. We have the ability to have amazing people like Damian on the show. We catch you guys on another episode. Peace.
If you're someone looking to level up in your personal life and also in your business, what if I told you there's only 2 things that you really need to focus on? Number 1 is your routines. If you knock down your routine each and every day, you're gonna be further along in your personal life. The other thing is your rituals. If you knock down your rituals each and every day, you're gonna be further along in your business life. And what if I told you you don't have to do this all by yourself? You can be part of an impactful group that's looking to level you up and support you along your journey. What's in the group? Let me give it a sauce. I'm talking about a daily tracker to make sure you stay on point. We read books that impact your life in real time. You get access to a group community where we're there to support one another. And there's 2 group coaching sessions each and every month. And guess what? It's only $1 for 7 days, so you can try it out. And then after that, it's $89 a month. All this value. So click the link below, get in a group. Let's level up your life. Let's level up your business. Let's go to the next level.